Hey, do you guys remember the Stanley Cup? No? The big cups with the handles and they have a bunch of different colors. You sit like a straw. That the Stanley Cup? No, doesn't ring a bell. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just old fashioned. Just thinking back in my day, they used to be real popular. You know, everybody, all the kids used to love them. 3 months ago, three months ago. I mean, literally 3 months ago. 3 months ago, these were like the biggest thing on the planet. Every big YouTuber was talking about them. It was big. But now, no one's even talking about the newest drops of the Stanley Cup. Did y'all even know that they dropped new cups for spring? I definitely didn't. I guess that's not that surprising. I don't really know anything because I'm never up on pop culture. But it's only thanks to YouTube that I know about certain things. And specifically thanks to this YouTuber named Halo Haley. She made a video talking about the newest Stanley Cup that they brought out, this spring like baby blue cup, and how the drop for this cup versus the drop for the Valentine's Day cup a few months ago they did not get the same reaction. So I'm actually gonna play a little bit of her video right now, just so you can kind of get the gist of what's going on and what she said about the cup.
I think the Stanley hype is officially over. 12 p.m. and still in stock.
The Stanley Cup has died a very painful but a very rapid death. So thankfully it went out quickly, but it went out very sad. Because Starbucks has collaborated with Stanley once again for a brand new cup collection. And was anybody aware of this? Because I wasn't up until today. And media outlets across the globe were preparing for the absolute chaos we saw in January to be repeated again for the Mother's Day release. But it wasn't just media outlets, because TikTok users were incredibly hyped for this release as well.
We are less than 24 hours away from Stanley's next much anticipated release, the Starbucks Stanley Spring Blue release.
And there were even people waiting to buy the cup who were recalling stories in the line to go into the Target, expecting people to get physically violent and fight each other again just like they did a few months ago. This hype and this anticipation that we've seen online did not deliver in real life. Not even close. Because 3 months ago, Stanleys were the hottest craze in the entire world, and now they're just has-beens almost begging to be bought.
Oh my God, there's signs.
That's it. That's great. Thank you. Do you guys have them behind there or? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Is the Stanley hype finally dying? Did nobody know about this drop? I went to Target at 11:30 and was still able to get one. Then there was this video where not only is the uploader actually disappointed at the lack of a turnout, but when they finally walk into the Target once it opens, the employees themselves are genuinely confused as to why it's so dead.
Where are they?
Good morning.
Morning.
How y'all doing?
Nobody's here.
Yeah, no, it's very weird.
That's so embarrassing, man. Imagine you anticipating that your newest product is going to be the next big thing. You're getting ready. You're making sure you have more than enough stock. You're making sure that all the doors have labels and where they need to go. You're making sure the inside of the store has, like those barricade things so everybody knows where to go. The poor employees were probably ready for war. Might have had their bulletproof vest on. They might have been strapped themselves. You got police lining up in the front of the store, making sure that everything is in order, getting ready for the worst. All that preparation, and you only got like 10 people in line.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
Need I remind you, it was only like 3 months ago or so where people were literally body slamming, beating other people up, stealing, and reselling these cups for outrageous prices. Only a few months ago. What happened? Why is literally no one talking about this new drop of the Stanley Cup and other drops that they have when their last cup just went viral? Well, Stanley, damn, I messed up the delivery on what I was gonna say. Ponder no more at the question, because I will be giving you all the answers you need to get back on top again. You should be taking notes, Stanley. Actually, just for the record, I am not a business expert, marketing expert, psychology expert. I'm none of those things. I like to do research on them, and I'm currently learning psychology in college, but I'm not an expert, so I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. These are all theories on why I think that the new cups aren't doing nearly as well as the last cups, going into a business perspective, but I could be wrong about a lot of these things, because again, I'm not an expert. So, why does no one care about the new blue Stanley Cup? Let's start with the obvious. Micro trends. Micro trends are exactly what they sound like. They're just pop culture trends that last way shorter than your average, like long seasonal or multiple year trend. Some examples I found online that a lot of people might know about: the tomato girl trend, which is, I think, just a makeup style of like using red or something like that, or the two girl trend, which was associated a lot with the main character syndrome thing that was going around. Sorry for my glare on my glasses too. I'm looking at it and it's kind of irritating me. I have a light behind. I'm trying to do better with my lighting. So normally micro trends would happen around a specific time of significance, like maybe a holiday or a big pop culture trend. For example, when Barbie came out a while back, everyone was obsessed with pinks and very feminine colors, and of course businesses took advantage of that. Everything you saw was Barbie themed: the t-shirts, the pillows. There were even these little Barbie themed gummies, and by Barbie themed, they were just like a shade of reddish pink. That's it. They resembled nothing close to Barbie. I took a picture so you guys can see. Look at these gummies. Look at them. What is that? They couldn't come up with anything that even remotely screams Barbie. I don't know. They could have made the gummies look like bows. They could have made them in the shape of a bee. You had so many options, and you make these blobs, and then they just slap the Barbie label on it because it's a reddish pink color, and it's like, well, there you go, that's Barbie themed. What was the creative process behind this? Or as this article that I read states about a Euphoria character wearing a certain type of dress, and after Euphoria came out and women started seeing these dresses, demand went up by 890% for that dress that she wore in Euphoria. So you get the gist of it. A microtrend is, again, just any trend that is very short-lived because of a certain pop culture event that got big, went viral, and then it died immediately after. So that's the kind of obvious of maybe why the Stanley Cup didn't do as well this time. It was probably one of those micro trends that just died very quickly. I don't fully believe that's what it is though, because people still use the Stanley Cups before the whole February Cup came out. So now to go more into the business side of things, my theory on why the new Blue Cup didn't do as well really centers around color psychology, demographics, and aesthetics. So first, what is color psychology? It's just the way that humans react and respond to colors and the effect that the color has on them. Simple as that. A lot of us collectively have an idea of what a color represents or what it means to us. For example, yellow normally means very happy, joyful. Black normally means dark or sad or even evil sometimes. Colors can affect our mood, the way that we view certain things, and some research implies that it could help like physical ailments. Well, there isn't that much research on it, so we can't say definitively that's what it's capable of doing. Anyways, colors have meaning to us people. So let's talk about pink in particular. Pink, as you can probably imagine, is the universal color for love, pink or red. According to Stephanie Nicola, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. An international study was made to see how the world associates certain colors with emotions. And red and pink obviously took the cake for the two colors being most commonly associated with love. So, if you're linking things together, going back to a few months earlier, the Stanley Cup for Valentine's Day was pink, or pink and red. You had both of those options, both being the main colors of love. So I mean, yeah, obviously pink made the most sense, right? It's not like I'm giving you any groundbreaking information. You're probably staring at me like, okay, yeah, duh, everybody knows that pink is Valentine's Day. But this is important because the cup and the colors were for a very niche and specific time of the year, Valentine's Day. So going back to micro trends, things blow up for a very short period of time because of that very specific event, and is only on one day of the year. Sure, people might get ready for it in the entire month of February, but for the most part, it's normally around that week, that day, that people really start getting things for it, right? Something that is made for a very niche and specific experience does well for micro trends. And another thing to consider, talking about demographics now, The buyers of Stanley Cups are primarily women, and although Valentine's Day is not only for women, I want to make that very clear. I remember seeing this Pinterest post that this girl said her boyfriend said he thought that Valentine's Day was only for girls because he never got a gift for Valentine's Day, so she made him one, and I thought that was sweet. Ladies, get your man something for Valentine's Day. It's not only about you, okay? I'm sure if you get them something out of the blue, it'll make them happy, because I doubt guys get a lot of things for Valentine's Day. But for the most part, I feel like women primarily celebrate Valentine's Day, or again, are more celebrated. Like they're the one who gets the gifts. And also even for single women who aren't in a relationship, I feel like they're more likely the ones to still celebrate it, to still get things for it, and just to have a self-love Valentine's Day. More than men do is basically what I'm saying. So dropping an item that resonates very close to a specific holiday and also resonates very close to the specific demographic of women, because pink is generally seen as a more feminine color. I feel like that short-term hype was boosted and gained a lot of interest for that specific time. That's all my pointers on the Valentine's Day cup. So then what's wrong with the Spring Baby Blue cup then? As I mentioned before, I was completely unaware that this cup even existed. Like everybody knew about the pink Stanley Cups, I feel like, because like I said, every big YouTuber was talking about them. But now when I search, Baby Blue Stanley Cup on YouTube, it's really only Haley's video that comes up. So what happened? What went wrong? Why is no one interested? Again, these are all theories, but one, the color. Now, don't get me wrong. The color is really pretty. Like looking at these cups, that shade of blue is like one of my favorite shades of blue. I would actually prefer that color cup than to the very bright pink cup. But I feel like it is not nearly as niche as it is for the pink Valentine's Day cup. So in the same article that I found the percentages of the international interpretation of colors, the study said blue represents relief to about 35% of the population. Now, of course, this is very subjective to a lot of people. When I see blue, I definitely don't think relief. That's not one of the first feelings or emotions that come to mind. And I feel like it definitely isn't as hyper-specific as pink being associated with love. Of course, the color blue being associated with spring is not as niche and hyper-specific as pink being associated with Valentine's Day. If I just picked a random stranger on the street, went to them and asked, hey, what color comes to mind when you think of Valentine's Day? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say pink, or again, red, in which they're both very closely associated. I mean, pink is really just the little sister of red, so. But if I asked, what color comes to mind when you think of spring? I'm definitely more likely to get many different answers. You may think of baby blue, like they painted the cups, or you might think of pinks or yellows, or maybe greens. That's what comes to mind for me, because spring is growth, right? I normally think of more pastel colors too when it comes to spring, like normally those softer colors. But the point I'm trying to make is it is not nearly as hyper-specific as pink for Valentine's Day. Spring can have a whole plethora of colors that you can choose from and think about and associate with it. Also, another thought, spring is a very long time frame. It's not just 1 month or 1 day, it's a few months, right? It ranges from, I think, late March to May-ish, June-ish, something like that. I think May, June, one of those times. But it's a long time period, basically. Again, it is not nearly as small and niche as the Valentine's Day, the 1 day or even the 1 month that people may celebrate it. So because it's such a specific time, Valentine's Day, that caused more urgency. I feel like a lot of people, of course, wanted to get the cup immediately then because, oh my gosh, Valentine's Day is coming up. I need to get it before it's over. And speaking of urgency, I feel like the time that the blue cup was dropped was not nearly enough or put in advance as much as it should have. So I dabbled a lot in certain little side hustle and businesses like Etsy or affiliate marketing, that type of thing. So I would do a lot of self-learning and research on businesses and marketing and stuff like that. And one of the things that a lot of YouTubers, courses, webinars, yada yada would tell me, you always put your product out well in advance before the time you want it to sell, because it builds that hype. Take Christmas, for example. They start putting Christmas stuff out as early as October because it's getting everybody in the spirits early. It's everybody like, ooh, right, Christmas is coming up. I gotta get ready for that. So it's kind of always in their face to get them prepared for it. So the Valentine's Day cup dropped on December 31st, which gave people a whole pretty much 2 months to get ready for that. However, the Spring Blue cup dropped April 9th, which was well after the start date of spring. Releasing it after spring had already started, I feel like didn't build the hype as much as it would have. But something else interesting I found out while doing research for the cups with this video, Stanley dropped another spring themed cup earlier in March this year, the Neon collection. And exactly what it sounds like. They're all just very bright neon colors, highlight yellow, highlight pink, highlight orange. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think spring, I definitely don't think neon. Neon is definitely reserved for summer, in my opinion at least, because I feel like that fits with summer. It's like very bold and bright colors. So if anything, they probably should have dropped that now in advance, getting ready for summer, since summer is right around the corner. But again, either way, because spring is such a broad category and a lot of people see spring in different ways, they could have done more to make the cup more specific to spring, like maybe adding flowers to it. But upon doing research, I also found they have a flower cup. All these cups I'm just now learning about because I'm actually doing the research and no one's talking about these cups. So they did make a flower cup. It was actually for the Mother's Day collection. But me personally, I don't think the design is very trendy. I feel like the pattern is a little, I don't know, just when I see it, or I guess it doesn't appeal to me, but because it's for mothers, maybe it would appeal to them. I don't know. If we are talking about the younger generation of mothers, like 20-year-old mothers, the design is not nearly as trendy as other flower designs. Like, for example, I think that abstract flowers are really in right now. Like the abstract doodle, kind of just like scribble flowers, and with watercolor too. I think that would be pretty cool on a cup. But again, just my thoughts, just my suggestions. I don't actually know if, I mean, maybe the flower cups are selling. You know, just because it isn't blowing up on TikTok or YouTube doesn't technically mean it's not selling well. But either way, the Valentine's Day cup for Stanley was its peak. I mean, let's just be real here. The attention that it got, I mean, it was really something, the way that people reacted to these cups. And like I said, I really feel like with the Valentine's Day cup, they played all of their cards right. But now they seem to be kind of dying down. And even though micro trends do exist, I feel like the good timing of the Valentine's Day cup and the marketing of it really helped it to reach its peak, but they didn't do much to maintain it. Because like I said earlier in the video, the Stanley Cup isn't like new, meaning like it's not popular just now. If y'all remember when that whole water talk ordeal was going on and every YouTuber was making videos about that, you'll remember that the majority of people who were participating in adding a bunch of packets and sweeteners to their drinks was using the Stanley Cup. And that also added to the allure of the whole water talk theme. So it's not like people weren't using them before and that it wasn't already viral, because it's still very popular. It's just a lot of the presentation and marketing of these cups. That's probably why the reason it didn't do so well, and not so much the fact that it's just a micro trend, because the Stanley Cups have actually been alive for quite some time now. So I mean, it really just all boils down to consumer psychology nowadays. Now, in the time that we live in, it is so much more interesting than it was before because of how unpredictable it is. With trends constantly blowing up and then dying literally like a week later. You don't know what to prepare for, you don't truly know what the people want, how long they're gonna want it. It's really, really interesting. I imagine it's not very fun for businesses, obviously, because they lose out on a lot of money, which, again, with these blue cups, I mean, it's kind of upsetting because now a lot of these cups are probably gonna get thrown away in the landfill or just end up in like, you know, thrift stores or whatever, because no one's really buying them. It doesn't have as much demand as they thought they would have. So obviously it's not very great for businesses themselves because they can't predict what their customers want. But as an innocent bystander, it's pretty interesting to me, honestly. And I'm interested to see how businesses combat this new age of just trends being so quick to die. But anyways, what do you guys think? If there's anybody who is interested in like marketing, business, psychology, or anybody who's an expert in these things, let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, tell me if anything I said makes sense at all, or if you disagree, or maybe if you have your own theories on why the cup didn't do so well. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, that's all this time around. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.